It's nothing personal, OP. It's just business. Derek can do your job better, and he's much cheaper. That's what my wife, Jessica, said to me across the boardroom table. Sitting next to her was Derek, her personal trainer turned VP of operations. He was smirking at me, wearing a suit that I paid for. Jessica thought she had won. She held 51% of the company's shares because I trusted her. She thought firing me meant she could run off with her boyfriend and keep the multi-million-dollar tech company I built. I didn't scream. I didn't beg. I just placed my ID badge on the table and said, "Good luck, Jessica. You're going to need it." She laughed as I walked out. She was so busy planning her new life with Derek, she completely forgot to read the fine print on our intellectual property agreement. She owns the company name, but I own the patents to the software, and I just revoked the license. Let me take you back. 10 years ago, I wrote the code for logistics software that revolutionized how shipping companies track packages. It was my baby. Jessica was my girlfriend back then. She was great at sales and marketing. We made a perfect team. We got married, and we started the company together. Because I loved her, and because I wanted to focus purely on the code, I let her handle the business side. Over the years, she convinced me to give her more shares for tax purposes and investor confidence. Eventually, she owned 51%, and I owned 49%. I didn't care. We were partners. Or so I thought. About 6 months ago, Jessica changed. She started spending late nights at the gym. She hired Derek, a guy with zero tech experience, as a consultant. I'm a programmer. I look for patterns. The pattern was obvious. She wasn't at the gym. She was with Derek. I confronted her last week. I expected an apology. Instead, I got a hostile takeover. She called an emergency board meeting. Since she controlled the majority vote, she passed a motion to remove me as the CTO, Chief Technology Officer. Her reason? Performance issues. The reality? She wanted to replace my $200,000 salary with Derek's salary and keep the profits for their new life together. Standing there in that boardroom, watching the woman I loved destroy my career for a gym trainer, something inside me snapped. But it wasn't a snap of anger. It was clarity. I remembered a document we signed 5 years ago. A separate legal entity held the patents to the core code, and that entity was 100% mine. I walked out of the building on a Tuesday. By Thursday, the chaos started. You see, the software requires a daily handshake with the license server to function. It's a security feature I built to prevent piracy. On Thursday morning, I logged into my private server from home and flipped a digital switch. I disabled the API key for Jessica's company. At the office, phones started ringing. Clients couldn't track their shipments. Trucks were stuck at loading docks. The system simply said, "Critical error. License expired. Contact vendor." Jessica called me. I ignored it. Derek called me. I blocked him. Then I got an email from Jessica marked urgent. "Opie, stop playing games. Turn the servers back on. You are sabotaging MY Company." I replied with one attachment. The PDF of the licensing agreement, highlighting the clause that says, "The licensor, me, can revoke access at any time with 24 hours notice." By Friday morning, the legal threats started rolling in. Jessica's lawyer called mine, screaming about breach of contract and corporate sabotage. My lawyer, a guy who has seen it all, actually laughed on the phone. He calmly explained the harsh reality to them. Your client didn't fire an employee. She fired a third-party vendor, and that vendor just decided to take his product back. The silence in the office must have been deafening, broken only by the constant ringing of phones from angry clients canceling contracts. They were bleeding cash, hemorrhaging about $50,000 an hour in refunds and penalties. The ship wasn't just sinking, it was already underwater. Jessica finally broke. She asked for a meeting. When she walked into the conference room, Derek wasn't with her. That arrogance I saw earlier? Gone. She looked exhausted, pale and small. She tried to reach for my hand across the table, playing the husband and wife card she had set on fire days ago. "Honey, please," she whispered, tears forming in her eyes. "We built this place together. You can't just let it die." Don't destroy us. I pulled my hand away. I didn't destroy anything, Jessica, I said, my voice steady but cold. You destroyed us when you brought him into our lives. You destroyed the company when you fired me to fund your affair. This isn't a marriage counseling session anymore. It's a business transaction. I slid a single blue folder across the mahogany table. Here's the deal. Option A, you keep your pride, the servers stay off, and by Monday morning, the company files for bankruptcy. You lose everything, the house, the cars, the status. I paused to let that sink in. Or option B, you sell me your controlling 51% stake right now for $1. You resign as CEO immediately, and you walk away. She lost it. She screamed, called me every name in the book, and even swept a glass of water off the table, shattering it against the wall. I didn't flinch. I just checked my watch. Tick-tock, Jessica. At 4 p.m., with her hand trembling, she signed the transfer papers. I reached into my pocket and handed her a crisp $1 bill. I bought my life's work back for less than the cost of coffee. My first act as a sole owner was immediate. I walked out to the parking lot where Derek was waiting in her car. I told him he was trespassing. He tried to argue about his employment contract, but I reminded him that he was hired unauthorized by a previous administration. Security escorted him off the premises. Then I went home, logged in, and flipped the switch. The servers hummed back to life. The relief from the staff was palpable. Jobs were saved, and clients were happy. As for the happy couple, paradise didn't last long. Without her CEO's salary and the prestige, Derek lost interest pretty fast. He moved out a month later. We are currently finalizing the divorce. Since I reacquired the company's shares after our legal separation date, my lawyers assure me she can't touch them. She wanted to be the boss and have the boy toy. Now, she's just an ex-wife with a mounting pile of legal bills. She learned a painful lesson that week. Never fire the person who holds the keys to the castle.